What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. We are here for Career Mode Season 4, Episode 4. I think overall we're on Part 67, which is bloody crazy. Yeah, here we are in the Toro Rosso. Still no points against our name. Getting into the 4th round of this championship. We have a major engine upgrade due for this race, and I can thankfully say that it has gone on the car. It's pretty much a given. I think we have all of the department efficiency, it's quality control upgrades applied. So there is not a single engine upgrade that will fail for that department for this team, which is nice to see. But we do need to start working on other areas of development, that being the chassis, which is actually much further behind in development than the other two areas of progression. So we'll get onto that as we head towards the likes of Monaco, which is very much a chassis circuit. But practice wasn't too bad. We got P10 and P11 respectively for myself and Kvyat. So progress is being made, and hopefully if we're lucky enough, we might be in a position to get some points today if, you know, there is a little bit of carnage. I don't know if we're definitely genuinely not a top 10 runner just yet. We need to pray for good strategies, a little bit of luck to go our way, because we're still the last car, or the slowest car by quite some way. So that is the predicament we find ourselves in at the moment. We're going to chuck in a fresh engine component, or the fresher engine power units, and we're going to go from there and see if that can give us an extra little boost in qualifying, as I feel like the other teams might be using their first ICE possibly. But let's go to quali.
Welcome to qualifying in the Republic of Azerbaijan. The teams are making their last-minute adjustments before the lights go green, and the fight for pole position can get underway.
Alright, so before we get into qualifying, if you guys are enjoying this series and you want to see it more often, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you need to see plenty more racing game content. In terms of the setup, we're going with low downforce. It's a relatively aggressive setup. I think I might lower the rear suspension a little bit to make it a little bit more compliant through slower speed corners. BAKU is comprised entirely of slow speed corners, a lot of traction zones all around the circuit, so this is going to be very tough on the old rear tyres, and it's an area in which we're struggling with, as you guys have seen in the early episodes of this season. We've got a bit of a pile-up, a yellow flag in the castle section. There's a big concentration of cars there, and my teammate is out of qualifying. He's crashed out here at the castle section, and Sebastian Vettel has got tangled up with him as well. Oh my goodness, and Vettel has just been rear-ended by a Red Bull. That could be our championship protagonist of Lucas Weber. I nearly said Devin Butler for a second there, but we'll get back to that in a second. I had to go to photo mode just to show you all of the cars that were actually involved in this. I couldn't rewind further back enough because this was actually a really long and strung out crash that happened. So Valtteri Bottas is the first one who has damage. Max Verstappen has nothing at all. He's got a clean front wing. Lando Norris has also got front wing damage. Who's that? Is Nico Hülkenberg. My teammate Daniel Kvyat is invisible at the moment. Then we've got the Williams, which is also involved, and Sebastian Vettel comes in, gets cleaned up, and so too does Devin Butler. Not Devin, bloody hell, I've done it again! Lucas Weber got involved and finished everything off. So we have quite a few people who have some damage. One or two people who are actually out of this Grand Prix. Valtteri Bottas just crashed. Oh, and Vettel has just crashed as well. I think that Valtteri Bottas has crashed at this very corner, recovering to get back to the pit lane, and just underestimated how much downforce he had at the last corner, and he's perished. So too with Sebastian Vettel. So we have lost at least 3 runners here at qualifying, meaning that my chances of getting out of qualifying 1 have greatly increased. A lot of other people have got damage as well, so that might interrupt their runs. Normally, some of the top teams only do like 1 run, 2 runs max, so if they have a bad lap at the end, oh boy, we might be well and truly in the game. We go P3 as we cross the line. Now puts us down to P7 as a few more people cross the line. But there is a lot of people with issues in this qualifying session. That's not ruling out grid penalties and stuff as well. So here's the race director. Sergio Perez, grid penalty. Danny Kvyat is out. Sergio Perez gets a second grid penalty. Vettel with a grid penalty, also damage. Valtteri Bottas is DNF'd. Vettel is DNF'd. And Lucas Weber has a grid penalty as well. Unbelievable. And that's not... there's also other people with damage. Lando Norris got tangled up in that as well. He put a really slow time together, so I don't think... Oh, he is in front of us now as we fast forward a little bit further on into the session. But my goodness, this is the most... this is the craziest qualifying session I think I've ever had. F1 2006, maybe it's Monaco. A lot of people were crashing out then, but this is a little bit worse than that very day. But anyway, we put in a pretty competitive lap. We go P13. My first banker lap wasn't great. This one was much more of a handy time. And as you can see, with 3 minutes to go, we are safe at this stage. Verstappen 31 seconds off the pace. He will need to put in a better time than that if he wants to see himself through to the next session. But yeah, we got the measure over Grosjean, who we're normally faster than. So I think we could probably get through to the next session with a spare set of softs. So I'm going to go out again just to ensure my safety. But we're going to put on a used set of softs to see if we can maybe slightly better our time. But I want to leave myself with something to fight with as we head into Q2 if we make it, so that we can, I don't know, maybe get even better. P14, P13, something ridiculous like that. We do have the engine upgrade. But at this stage on this lap, we've now been demoted to P16. We're down on the delta, so we are in the danger zone a little bit. So we're going to have to push a little bit harder on this lap. And as you can see at the castle section...
What happened? Let me know you're okay.
We have pushed that little bit too hard. And we are out of qualifying. Much like our teammates and all of those that perished just 10 minutes ago. We are now out of qualifying for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We just went in too fast. I realized that we were in trouble. Pushed too hard. Missed the apex really, and just hit the outside barrier, and that was it. So we'll be starting from P16, maybe even a little bit higher if we're lucky, with some of the grid penalties that are going to be enforced up and down the field with all the crashes. We could even see just reliability type penalties, but might be unlikely at this stage of the season. So qualifying 1, K-Mag is the man to beat. Lucas Weber had a penalty. So too did Perez. Valtteri Bottas and Sebastian Vettel, all for good measure, had their own fair share of penalties, and the race director for the incidents just says it all. What a messy qualifying session here in Baku.
Good afternoon and welcome to Baku. This was the arena, if you think back to 2017, of one of the most eventful races of modern history, with controversy behind the safety car, last-second overtakes, and a historic podium for Williams and for Lance Stroll. So let's find out what lies in store for us this year. It's time for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And it's an absolute pleasure to be joined once again by Anthony Davidson. Why don't we talk about Ferrari? We have a number of changes to the aerodynamic regulations this year, and the signs haven't looked good for them so far in terms of getting to grips with those changes.
There are a few downcast looks within the team this weekend. I think they've been hit fairly hard by the new regs. But this is only the first step down a long road of development, and even if they don't maximise their points today, there are plenty more up for grabs this season.
Great starting position for us. Let's see if we can improve on that in the race.
Thank you, Jeff. Despite the, I want to say, disaster of qualifying, we're still starting from our best starting position all season of P16. I bottled qualifying. Let's not bottle the race and see if we can come away with some points here with our new and improved power unit power gains we made. Away we go for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. That was a very 0 to 100 start there, but away we go finally for this race. And let's see if we can make a mark on this field. P16 at the moment. We've got it all to do in this race. I feel like we are better than what we showcased in qualifying. I'm struggling a little bit with natural speed this weekend. Danny in practice was actually quite fast, so we'll have to watch out for those around us as this race wears on. But we're running side by side with Valtteri Bottas here as we run into the middle sector. We get a dive bomb on Ricciardo and also one of the McLarens. I think it was Lando Norris. It's Carlos Sainz actually. We move our way up into P14 now and made a very opportunistic start of this race, which is nice to see. We've got Grosjean up next, but we'll focus on him in just a moment. Here's the replay. It was a very ambitious lunge, but I was holding the brake a very, very long time into the turning point of the corner. I was just making sure that I didn't, run Ricciardo off the road and have contact or anything like that. That was the last thing I wanted. I wanted to keep it clean, and we just about did that into P14. So next up is Grosjean. He is in the Renault, which, apart from, those immediately around us, Grosjean has been the weakest driver, I would say, so we should be able to get a leg up on him today if we're half a chance. But we are on the medium tyre. We are on a tyre that is the best part of 7-8 tenths a lap slower than the soft, so we will find progression to be a little bit difficult at the start of this race, as everyone has got fresh, soft compound tyres, so we're playing the long game here, and I'm hoping that the tyre wear will be good enough for us to put the soft on towards the end of the race, but it's looking unlikely with our track record of tyre wear, and also the way that the car is behaving, especially this weekend. The car is quite taily, I've noticed, as Ricciardo now goes for a dive out the inside into the penultimate corner before the castle section, and he is through for P14. So a nice dive bomb there from Ricciardo. You've got to remember the racing point is at the top of the midfield, so they're considerably faster than us, and there was no way I was going to keep him behind all race, especially with the long straights and now DRS getting enabled. Let's see if we can just follow him through on the medium tyre and catch up to the next group of cars. Speaking of which, this is actually behind us. This is Sebastian Vettel getting his way past Carlos Sainz in the downhill left hand. A very brave overtake because the cars will naturally slide out towards the outside, and Sebastian being on the outside was almost every chance of hitting the wall there, or at least getting squeezed into it. And meanwhile, Seb is on the move. He's on the charge. This is us that he's trying to overtake. Can't quite get close enough in the braking zone, but he'll bide his time and probably get past on the next DRS straight, which is this one, just 2 corners later. Here he goes, up into P15. A big swerve there as we tried to get back to the racing line and try and put pressure on him. He did have an inside front lockup, which puts him under pressure. Again, he goes defensive, mounts the curb, which is not good for his exit, and Vettel is under pressure here despite having a much faster car. How's that voice break? Like, subscribe for all that good stuff. I'm going to leave that in because #banter. Lap 5. We are falling like a stone in this Bahrain Grand Prix. Yep, it's all falling apart now. One little fluster and it's all going out the window. So too is the rear tyres, 20%. So the tyre wear is quite imbalanced, and this harps back to what I was speaking about earlier with the car feeling quite oversteery. Another thing that I'm struggling with at the moment is stopping power. With the engine upgrade that we've made, I find that I have to extend the braking zones a little bit. I found myself a lot over the course of the weekend, especially in practice, overshooting corners, like turn 1 there. I've just done it again. So yeah, the engine power has increased, top speeds are up, but the braking prowess isn't quite there to match it. It's kind of like the scenario I had at Ferrari right before I maxed it out. We were struggling for stopping power, and we seem to be struggling with that again at this circuit, as Sergio Perez has just absolutely wiped us out of this Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We've got some front wing damage on the end plates, but I can't believe this overtake that he's gone for, just a last-ditch effort up the inside at a high-speed chicane, which is really only a one-line corner. I mean, if you wait like an extra 5 seconds, you've got like freaking aeroplane runway to overtake me on. But no, you want to rush the overtake, and as such, you've not only ruined my race, but you've ruined your own as well. You absolute fool, Sergio. Here's the replay at slow motion. I just don't know what he was thinking. Stupid overtake. In every sense of the word. My front wing is damaged. Crucially, my rear wing on the left-hand side upright is also got a bit of a shark bite in it, which is going to actually affect me all race, and I actually can't fix that. We had that at Austria in F1 2017 career mode, and that made the handling of our car absolutely atrocious. So, by all accounts, our chances of getting some points today in this Azerbaijan Grand Prix, I think, are out the window. Here goes Sergio into the pit lane. Like, I just don't get it. Wait 5 seconds and you'll saw past with DRS with ease. We're last place. Oh, we will be when we change the front wing. I'm just having a little think about the strategy. We have to go to the hard compound tyres. I have stayed out the extra lap, but realistically, we can't stretch it out with this now red front wing as we hit the wall on the way into the pit lane, but it's fine. We're getting that changed anyway. So, yeah, our only hope now in this Azerbaijan Grand Prix is to get a safety car, really. Change to soft compound tyres or medium tyres, whatever it might be, because at the moment we're on hard compound tyres. We're going to be the best part of 5-10 seconds behind our teammate once he makes his stop, which is coincidentally happening right now. He's going on to medium, so my teammate is pulling off the soft to medium tyre strategy, whereas we're on the hard to the end of the race, so he's going to have the tyre advantage. We might have some speed on him towards the end of the Grand Prix, but the immediate future is not looking bright for us as my teammate signs those immediately around us are all going to be on a softer compound, have better pace anyway, and be 10 seconds up the road. So this is going to be a long old slog in this Grand Prix. The gap started off at about 11.5 seconds. We're actually getting that gap down now to under 10 seconds, or under 11 seconds. It's now 10.6. So we are closing in on our teammate, but I don't know if it's going to be by enough at this point. Sainz and Sergio Perez are fighting away for, I think, 17th place in this race. Valtteri Bottas a few seconds up the road. Sebastian Vettel now has a front wing change and is switching onto the hard compound tyre. So that's a unscheduled stop for him, I believe. But, yeah, we're still going to be last in this Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel is 3 or 4 seconds up the road. We might have half a chance of catching him, but he's in a significantly faster car than what the Toro Rosso is offering, and there he goes, overtaking my teammate. So for the rest of this race, it's going to be pretty bleak. I'm not going to lie, guys. We're getting towards the end game of this race, and there's no safety car to be had in sight. 8 laps left in this race. We're actually losing time now to Danny Kvyat. So my motivation levels are just not great at this stage. We're starting to lose hope a little bit. I'm asking for what the fast lap of the Grand Prix is at this stage. I think that's the only thing I can really go for now, is box for a set of soft compound tyres, go for a fastest lap and hope for a safety car or something. Oh my god. Puncture on the right rear.
You're showing a big drop in pressure.
How has that happened? I was pushing to try and catch up to my teammate. I was probably going to box on this lap as well. And we run slightly wide. We only just grazed the outside barrier, and that's a puncture. So today has certainly not been my day. The crash with Sergio Perez, me bottling qualifying the crash and then using softs, used softs, now the puncture, going up the escape road. I think we're probably going to be lapped. Yeah, we certainly will be lapped as the VSC is deployed. That's not the safety car we wanted. We wanted the full course caution. But yeah, our hopes of getting in contention in this Grand Prix are now certainly out the window now. We're just cruising it back to the pit lane, and we're just spinning out everywhere. A rear puncture is not the puncture that you want. And now we are a lap down. It does not get any worse than this, ladies and gentlemen. Last by a long way. VSC is now ending. I don't know why, because there's still a lot of debris out on circuit from my puncture. There's a bit of front wing scattered. I've just had a spin. There's a car that's like limping back to the pit lane with a puncture. I don't think it's exactly safe for everyone to rejoin with green flag racing again, but each to their own. We're pretty much in the pit lane now anyway, as now we're going to switch on to a set of soft compound tyres. So at this point now, I think we've got to hope for like a red flag or something to bring us back into this race. That is absolutely mad. How can things go this far downhill? I just don't understand. But anyway, let's cheer up a little bit. We're going to be on the soft compound tyre. We're going to be in the mix with some faster cars around us. So now we can, I don't know, maybe showcase what we could have done today in this Grand Prix. We're in the slowest car. Could we theoretically maybe get the fast lap of the Grand Prix in the slowest car? That'd be quite the achievement, but we'll wait and see. Lap 23 now. We're entrenched in a battle with the two Ferraris. I'm hoping that I can actually get slipstream DRS on these Ferraris, get in front of them, and actually have used that as a springboard to get fastest lap. You can see Devon Butler and Hamilton here fighting tooth and nail here as we head into the middle sector. Devon is on the inside and... oh my goodness. It just does not get any worse than this. We've crashed again. We've crashed again. This time it wasn't our fault. I mean, arguably you could almost say that the Sergio Perez crash wasn't our fault, but this one certainly had nothing to do with me. Devon has just turned in way too early. He's hit the inside barrier, flung him off to the outside line and put me in the barrier. And that is curtains for me in this Grand Prix. My teammate is coming around now to lap me, so here he goes. Getting lapped by the absolute backmarker of the field. I thought it couldn't get any worse before with this Grand Prix, but now we have absolutely hit rock bottom, lapped by our teammate, and there's absolutely no chance of getting any more positions in this race, despite Kevin Magnussen retiring from this Grand Prix. That's a real shame for him as well. He was running in the podium positions, and I believe he's actually our championship leader. But meanwhile, up front, Red Bull get a double podium. Max Verstappen wins, and we're going to come away with, well, at least we won't be last in this race. At least that's the only thing we can take out of this Grand Prix.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
What a mess. What a mess this race weekend has been. Not great pace. I'm not going to lie, I've been bested by my teammate, I would say, over the course of practice. Qualifying could have gone better. We could have got ourselves into Q2, which would have been a legendary effort. And in the race, there's just too many incidents to speak of, which really just prevented us from having any chance of showcasing our speed in this race. We got a 38.2 on the board, which is actually a pretty solid fastest lap, which is only 6-7 tenths away from those right at the front of the field. But we pretty much did a qualifying lap right at the end there, so that you do have to question the legitimacy of that fastest lap. But regardless, we weren't going to get points today. I don't think we really have the package. From this race weekend, there's two things I can take away from this. Is we need more rear downforce. That is for sure. And I also need to work on the stopping power of this car now, because when we get to a track like this and like Monza, Spa, we're going to need that stopping power in order to have some confidence in pushing and overtaking, which we certainly lack today. It's not too bad over the one lap speed, but when it comes to consistently getting some speed out of the car, that's where you start to suffer. And that's why I was actually losing time to Danny after a little while there. The rear tires were getting cooked a little bit. So that's some areas we need to work on. Heading into Spain, we'll hopefully work on some upgrades and get the ball rolling with the development now, because we are getting to the point in the season where we need to be scoring the odd point or two to put some pressure on those teams around us. But yeah, there we go, guys. That has been this Grand Prix for today. If you enjoyed, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you need to see plenty more racing game content. It doesn't get any worse than this, that is for sure. But anyway, upgrades. We're gonna target some of the areas that I did speak about earlier. We are actually gonna go for rear downforce. That's actually a very cheap upgrade relative to some other things, so that'll be a minor rear downforce upgrade. 544 points against our tally, and with that we don't have too many more points to spend after that. So I did a little bit of shopping around. I had a look at things I could do chassis wise, but it wasn't too much that I could afford actually. So we're going to go for a drag reduction upgrade, and thankfully that one is pretty cheap as well, 465 odd points, and that'll go on the car. Both of those will go on the car for the next race in Spain. But the priority now has to be on the chassis. The chassis is falling down massively in response to the rest of the departments in our research and development on the car. So that's two areas. That's an area we really do need to work on now, but we'll hopefully target that as we head into the Monaco Grand Prix. But with all that said, I feel like I've been waffling on for ages now. Thank you so much for watching. Here's the highlights. Not many of them. There's a lot more lowlights and highlights, but enjoy them nonetheless. And I'll join you guys for the next race in Spain, where hopefully these upgrades can get us in the mix with the midfield. Until then, I'll see you next time.
So this is how we end up. Shades of blue and gray. I feel just like an empty bottle. My dreams are on delay. I just wanna climb on top of a hill and throw it all away, away. Take me far away before my mind spins off and I am all derailed, derailed. Just drive.